Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. For today I'm going to be doing an in-depth review on the palette from Adept Legend of Ardra. So if you want to hear all my thoughts, see some close-ups, swatches, lots of different looks, then please stick around for today's video and make sure you are subscribed before leaving today. And let's go ahead and get into it. So the time that I'm filming this palette shows that it's still in stock. It is $75 USD. You can use my affiliate code BRITTANYRAE to save. But I will say that Adept Cosmetics said that this is low in stock. So just keep that in mind. I'm not sure if they're going to restock it, if they're going to open up a pre-order. I'm not too sure. But I did want to let you know that they did say that this is low in stock. Let me first show you some beautiful swatches of this palette. And I did swatch this palette a little bit different than I typically do. I didn't want to go from like wrist to elbow. I wanted them to be very close and distant so you could kind of see what you're getting. You're getting very spicy neutrals with some very bold matte pops. So I swatched them like this very close together because I feel like it can almost get lost in translation, just because if you see swatches from your wrist to your elbow and you're like, oh my goodness, I see nothing but beautiful, shifty, sparkly goodness. I felt like it was almost helpful in a way to see them very close together so you could see the overall color story, because for me this color story was honestly a little bit challenging, and we will go ahead and get into that. I will say this packaging blew me away. I feel like I can say for all of us, most of us at least, we adore the packaging. It is so beautiful. In person, I just want to show you, it looks like this, like pretty soft pinky peach, but the way you can turn it in a natural light, even low light, it just honestly gets very holographic and stunning. It is such a beautiful packaging. It feels very luxurious, so I had to shout out the packaging as well as those beautiful swatches. Now I want to pop up, I think I've done 5 different looks, so this is not a first impressions. I want to go ahead and pop up all 5 looks so you can see just what I did on my own time, because holy moly, this color story, I'm a spicy neutral lover, but normally I reach for more toned down matte, so I had to really challenge myself to create looks with these very bold pinks and the blues and the blurple and the very cool tone, I would say neutrally shade that we did get. It's a very cool tone, and even the soft peach shade, it honestly can pull very peachy and pink, like very intense on the eyes. So I had a lot of fun creating all those looks with this palette, but now I want to go ahead and zoom you in and let's create a look together, and also I'll kind of talk over some of my thoughts. My lippy's driving me crazy because it doesn't match my shirt. I promise, like I could not find my favorite lippy, but the look I'm going to create, it's kind of leaning a little green. I believe that's where I'm going to go with this look, so it's fine. We're not matching, and that's the way it is over here. So let's go ahead and let me show you how I would typically create a look using this palette. Okay, so for the looks that I've created so far, I have gone into the mattes and kind of built up, layered on however I wanted to, and then I popped into a shimmer. But I will say that these matte shades in here, it is so difficult because I normally start off with the brown because that's just who I am, but this is so deep and rich and it leans very cool tone, and it can get very smoky real quick, and I feel like I don't have a shade, like a matte shade, to blend this out, because this can make a look very pink, which honestly, if you want a pink look, there you go, that's perfect to blend this shade out. But if you don't want a pink look, you honestly don't have a lot to work with as far as like a blending. This isn't like a pastel, so you can't get away with blending it out and kind of it just blending into nothing, because it will turn a look pink, and these honestly will take the look to the next level as far as like color saturation. So I don't have anything to blend this out. So for me, in my brain, I'm going to show you how I will typically navigate this palette. This is probably very backwards for most of you, but I'm going to go into a shimmer first and then go into this to kind of blend out the edges last. My daughter is sleeping, so if you see me looking down, I'm just checking the baby monitor. If you're ever curious, whenever I'm filming, I'm always looking down. It's because I typically film when my kids are taking their nap. So first, I'm going to go into Ardra. I don't know why I have such a problem saying that word, but this is a beautiful multi-chrome. It's like that typical red, pink, green, golden, shifty shade, and I will say that the formulation in this palette, as far as the shimmers, this is almost like a Minka and a Cyborg Choir had a baby. The shimmers are very emollient, wet. Some are squishy. They're oily. Like, these definitely have, like, you can squish them around in the pan, so love it or hate it. Just wanted to let you know what you're getting with this palette. I do have the brown in the palette as liner because I've already done my makeup for the day, and I actually went to Target to pick up a few things. So if you're like, you already have liner on and mascara, it's because I've already been living my day. But anyways, this multi-chrome, what separates this from every other red to green gold shade, it's that this shade has holochromes, like beautiful sparkles in there. So if you're someone who does not like a wet formulation, this palette, it's not going to be for you. But if you're someone who loves a formulation where you can almost manipulate it in the pan and it's squishy and soft, very oily feeling and texture, some are flaky, that's what you're going to get with this, and I think you would honestly really enjoy it. So like I said, I typically will go into a shimmer and then just get a blending brush, and without using a matte, I just kind of work it through the crease whenever I'm in a situation where the matte shades are too dark or too bold for me. And it almost becomes just like a one and done shadow. I have been playing with this palette since I believe like last Thursday. I'm filming this on Wednesday, so almost a week I've had this palette to play with. And I didn't want to rush up at first impressions because I have really had to test this palette and just kind of like get a feel of the formulation and the color story. As far as the formulation, it's an Adept palette, and the shimmers, they're 10 out of 10. Now you may love the squishiness or you may hate it, but as far as the formulation, it's a really good shimmer formula. If you like a wet, oily shimmer, Adept has improved their matte formula. So the mattes, once I tested out the formulation and realized, okay, there's no duds in the palette, everything in this palette performs very nice, then I took a few days to just kind of get to know the color story, because that's honestly what I'm testing it for, is the color story. And I know you're like, wait, what? It's because for me, in my brain, I can use a very colorful shimmer as long as I have some neutral shades as far as matte to like ground and kind of carry the look. But whenever it's flipped on me and I get neutral shimmers with colorful mattes, I'm just like, wait, what do I do? So it did take me a few days to gather my thoughts on this palette, so I hope you don't mind me taking my time. I know I've had so many people want me to put my video up because you were going back and forth if you wanted this palette, but I honestly needed to take my time and gather my thoughts as far as the color story goes. I just love how their shimmers, like you can almost blend them and they will become just like a one and done shadow. I know the shade Legend. This is honestly like this quad right here. I was like, okay, you look a little similar, and yes, I'm going to swatch all the shimmers live for you, but I was like, is there some repetition over here? No, this is honestly like a gunmetal. This one is almost like a rose golden silver, and then this shade is a beautiful silver with honestly like a red pinky base. It's so pretty. So even though you may look at it and you're like, they look the same, I promise they don't, and to a neutral lover, you're definitely going to appreciate those little differences. But all three of these shades, I did one and done looks, and I just kind of did what I did today and blended it out, and I just got such a pretty look. Some of them I didn't take pictures of because they were just like so basic and everyday, but I was just kind of mainly testing out like the formulation and just kind of see how I can manipulate the different looks without using mattes on its own, just to get very wearable looks. So I did appreciate how even though they looked similar, they are different, and that's the main goal that I had by achieving those three different looks. And then this one's pretty multi-chrome, shifty, and special, and I would just like top this on to give it a little bit extra holographic sparkle effect. So I do like how a lot of the shades, you can just blend them out, and you don't even have to go into the mattes if that's something where you just want to get this palette for those fun pops that you don't want to use all the time. You don't have to use these mattes every day to get a real cohesive, pretty look. Another shade that I wanted to play with that I have not played with enough, it is the shade Imposter. This has beautiful red sparkles, and it just shifts, and it just honestly makes every look so fiery. And I will say, like, this one right here, it's honestly like a perfect go-to inner corner shade that's almost like a neutral shimmer in a way, where you get so much reflectiveness with not too much color. So it will honestly go with any shadow if you just want a very almost like soft champagne shimmer, but it's just a little bit elevated. So I'm going to go into Imposter and layer this on, and I just love these beautiful pinky bright fiery sparkles that it's going to take the look to the next level for me. And I have not had any creasing with these shadows. I do get asked that a lot, but I don't have that problem, so I'm not the best person to ask. And I will say that these do not enhance my texture unless I just go like in and keep layering and layering on multiple shades. Then my eyes will kind of get a little creepy, ugly. But that's if like you're really just layering on like 4 different shades. But other than that, they just perform like a dream. And y'all know I love to go in to my fingers with the different shimmers. I know some people that just like gives them the ick. I understand. So I did test out a few days just using a brush, and I did not have any problem with the shimmers picking up on a brush, but I did have to like dig in there a little bit just because of the texture of the formulation. For the inner corner, I guess I'll just go into this shimmer right here and just kind of show you that it's almost like basic but like elevated, where the color, it's going to match every shimmer. It's not too silvery, it's not too yellow, it's not too peachy. It's just like the perfect, it's not even like a true champagne because it's so much, it's like elevated more than just like your basic champagne. But this shade will just kind of blend with every single shimmer in the palette. But I did honestly struggle with the fact that a lot of these multi-chromes, they shift to a green or a yellow or like a gold, and I don't have a green matte to blend out the green multi-chromes, or like a mustard yellow. So I'll kind of show you later on in the video what I did, but just keep that in mind that a lot of these have different shifts. Like this is a purple, none of these shift purple. We do have a blurple, which this is the only shade that has more of like an icy blue sheen to it. Because once you like dig your finger into this, it turns out to be a really light blue shimmer that's stunning. So you do have like this monochromatic look you could go for. Some of them do have pink, like this pink fiery pop. You could go into the pink if you want to do that. But this purple, I'm like, none of them really lean purple. So just keep that in mind that a lot of these are green leaning and yellow, and you don't have like that green to blend it out with, or a yellow. Now I'm going to go into a matte. I'm going to go into the dark brown, and it's pretty cool tone, I must say, and I'm just showing you how like day to day how I would utilize this palette if I don't want to go into the wild mattes. And I know color lovers, I'm so curious what you think about this palette, because the shimmers are more spicy neutrals, and then the mattes are like very colorful in a way. So I'm curious what your thoughts are. Do you prefer colorful mattes and more subdued shimmers as far as like the saturation of the color, or do you just want everything to be colorful? Because I'm so curious like if you're gonna pass on this palette, because it's truly not just like super intense and vibrant unless you're going for those really bold mattes and then layering the shimmers on top. I'm also gonna take that on the lower lash line. I have been using this shade right here as blush. Guys, I've been loving it as blush. And I've also been using the brown in the palette for my brows. And I've been loving these two together. I've just been using them all week, testing this palette out. Okay, I think this is the finished look. I'm going to go ahead and turn down the brightness so you can see the sparkle. Okay, so here we have it under low light. The sparkles are so pretty. And yes, I know you're not going to be living your life in the darkness with like a flashlight on you, but in person and in the sunlight, you can truly see the shifts of Adept shimmers, and also like the holographic sparkles. Like just the shimmers alone made the palette for me. And I wanted to say, for all my creator friends, if you're curious, whenever I do these low light shots, I'm in the dark and I'm just using my phone flashlight, because I get that asked all the time how I capture the sparkles. It's literally like, we're not fancy over here, it's just my phone. So I wanted to share that technique. I'm sure you already know, but if you don't, it's just my phone light. And you can kind of see the shift in the mirror. It is so pretty. My camera just fell, my mic got disconnected, all the lights fell down, so hopefully like y'all can hear me fine. If not, if the audio's a little weird, I don't know, I'll fix it later I suppose. But let's go ahead and swatch these beautiful shimmers in person. Like, they are just so pretty. They're stunning. I just wish I could capture them how I see them, guys. They're so pretty. Okay, let's get on with it. I'm going to do like this quad right here, because you may be like, do I want it? These may look a little similar. Well, let me answer any questions you have. So I'll do the silver, which I thought it was just going to be a silver, but it actually has like a deep base that's almost a little grungy. It's like a peachy brown base with silver sparkles on top, and that honestly surprised me because I'm not somebody who likes silvers, So this honestly made me really happy to see this, that it wasn't just another silver, because we have so many of just silvers in our collection. And now I want to do the gunmetal, which this shade kind of like, it's a little too wet for me. This is very Minka coated, if you will. If you love the shimmers in Minka, then you're going to love this gunmetal shade. And these are very pigmented. I barely dipped into this pigment, and you can just see, like, this is such a beautiful silver, deep, grungy gunmetal, and I think it honestly adds a lot of versatility in the palette. Okay, now let's go into the more pinky silver shade so you can see the difference. And I'll swatch this right here. See how much pink, like girly, I would say this one is. And then if you look at it from the side, you see champagne, but if you look at it in like dead on, you see pink. So this one is pretty, I guess, like a duochrome effect, if you will. Stunning. But I'm telling you, like, these two may look a little similar, but they're very different whenever you see them in person. Now let's do the holochrome one. This is like a, honestly, it's a little rainbow shadow. It leans pink and teal and gold. It's like such a spicy neutral with holographic sparkles in there. It is stunning. Okay, those two shades kind of blended in together. I'm sorry, but that is them all swatched out. Oh, they're so pretty. Look at that holographic shift. Just adding that on any of these, just take it to the next level. Okay, that is stunning. It looks like a little rainbow. Look at that. Mama Pinky, the shift, that is so pretty. Like, in person, it looks so neutrally, and then it just shifts in the sunlight, and it's stunning. Okay, next, I'm going to do this beautiful quad right here. I'm going to do this shade right here, which it's honestly just an amazing, you could do it like inner corner shade, because it's so wearable. It's like a peachy champagne with silver sparkles. It is so, I don't want to say basic, but whenever you kind of swatch it up to these others, it's going to look basic, but it is so reflective and beautiful. Okay, now I'll do Imposter, which I layered this on my eyes today. This is a magical little shade right here. Oh, you see that? That is so pretty. Look at that holographic shift. Very beautiful. One of my favorite shades in the palette. It's truly just a magical shade. Okay, now let's do Ardra. I feel like I have to yell that name. This is very smooth and creamy. This is a shade that I put all over my lid. Okay, I can keep going. No, I don't want to get it on my shirt. I don't know why I wore long sleeves. It is so pretty. Like, it's my favorite shade in the palette. Look at that. It looks so intense. I can't wait to show you my mirror because it looks so green from the side. Okay, now we're going to do the last shade, which this one, it leans pretty yellow. That's why I was thinking a mustard or yellow matte would have just been perfect for this palette, but not a palette that I created, so we didn't get that. Wow. How pretty are those 4 shades? They are next level beautiful. That's why I'm saying just the shimmers alone truly are worth it for me, even though the mattes, we'll get into that, they're just not really my favorite. Like, look at that shift. I mean, you see it, I don't know why I have to yell it from the rooftops. You have to let me know which one is your favorite, because I know a lot of you already have this palette, so please let me know which is your favorite shimmer in the palette and what do you think about the mattes. Okay, now let's do the 2 marble shades. They're so pretty, and then whenever you rub your finger on them, it just messes them up. Okay, we're gonna do this one first, and this one actually, it goes a little blue. This is 2367, whatever that stands for. There's a little bit of purpliness into it, but not much. Mainly on the eyes, it translates as blue. Let's do another layer. See, on my hand, it's okay. Whenever I'm looking at it this way, I see blue, and then dead on, I see silver and green. But on my eyes, it definitely looked blue. I'll pop up the look right here so you can see I'm not crazy. It looked very blue on my eyes. Okay, now we'll do the one underneath it, and this honestly was beautiful. So much pinky sparkles in it, and it just made it so fiery. Let me do another dip. Wow. And on the side, I'm seeing green, because a lot of these shades, they do have that green aspect. But that's what the marble shades look like blended out. Let me get my mirror so you can kind of see. Yeah, you can see that blue shift to it. Let me kind of scooch up so you can see it closer. Very pretty. Do you like the marble shades from Adept? I've never tried like the rainbow shades, but I do enjoy the marble shades. But I could see why some people wouldn't like that. I'm going to wash my hands and then we'll get into my final thoughts. I've got to hurry. My baby monitor is about to die. I have to go get the charger. So let me wrap up my thoughts on this palette in the best way that I possibly can. Packaging, 10 out of 10. Y'all, I mean, everyone loves the packaging. It's stunning. And as far as the formulation, amazing, amazing. The mattes perform just like the beautiful updated Adept mattes that we have seen. As far as the shimmers go, if you like more of an emollient, wet, oilier shimmer that's kind of squishy, then you will like this shimmer formulation. If you do not, then you're not going to like this, because we do not have any of the more traditional shimmers like Flying Fiddles, for example. This formulation, it's like a Minka and a Cyborg Choir honestly had a baby. And let me actually hold it up to a Cyborg Choir, because I know like there's a pink matte, a blue matte, and a blurple matte. So let me just kind of hold them up so you can see them. Cyborg Choir is on top, so if you're curious, that is them right next to each other. Honestly, they look more similar far away, but I'm telling you, like in the swatches, they are very different, if that does help. But I think that the mattes, honestly, like they could be sisters. Okay, now let's talk color story. So for me, I love all of the shimmers. I think they are such a beautiful, neutral, spicy dream. As far as the mattes go, I think they are beautiful. They perform well. I just don't know if I would have paired these with these shimmers. I know all my color lovers, you're probably so happy that you have like some more spicy neutrals with some colorful mattes, but in my brain, I cannot do a spicy neutral and a colorful matte. It just doesn't make sense. I do like all the looks that I created, but I did kind of struggle. So for me, just keep in mind that these are magnetic and you can switch them out. And let me just kind of show you some mattes that, oh my gosh, this magnet. Let me just kind of show you some of the matte shades that I picked out. To make this easy, I literally just pulled shades from my Heather Austin palette, and it just made it so much more neutrally. Like, cause so many of these shift green, you got a green, so many have like that golden yellow shift, there's a yellow, and then you have this shade that will just honestly blend out everything. Well, I guess this is going to do it for today's video. I do hope this was helpful. I hope that I answered any questions for you. If you have any, just leave them in the comments down below. I'll definitely try to help you out the best way I can. I was trying to like communicate what I have in my brain with you, because I like the palette. The formula is beautiful, but like it's not making sense in my head. So anyways, guys, sorry I got this video up a little bit later, but I wanted to spend a lot of time with this color story because it was really challenging. But Adept killed it again with an amazing formula with a beautiful shimmers. I don't know if I would recommend this to someone who loves neutrals because of those bold pops, and I don't know if I would recommend this to someone who loves color because the shimmers are so spicy neutrals. So honestly, I would only recommend this palette to you if you see it and you're like, oh, I feel inspiration, like I just want to like create 20 looks with it off of my head, then I would recommend it to you. But if you do not see this and feel inspired, buy at your own risk, because this color story, it's fun, it's different, but it made me think. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're doing well. I hope that you are healthy, happy, and safe. Stay beautiful. Bye, guys.